Hello and welcome to the Blue Monday podcast. This is a 3 times weekly show looking into the exciting happenings of Ipswich Town Football Club, available on video and podcast. My name is Benjamin Bloom. I'll be here each and every Monday for this, the flagship show, for a sometimes irreverent but always informative hour or more of football conversation. So make your Monday a Blue Monday. David Diamond.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Better than you by the sounds of it.
Yeah,
right?
Struggling, mate. Yeah, I know. Struggling with voice. Got the hot and cold sweats. Everything's going on, but
Really?
I'll try and soldier on, my friend.
What percentage chances of you going to work tomorrow?
Pretty high, I thought, because I've been away for the last week. But what to say to? Well, I remember it. Good listen to you Friday on Leslie Dolphin's show.
Leslie Dolphin. Subject matter.
Brent
used.
Yeah.
Joe Fairs.
Hello.
How you doing, my friend? This is the first time you've been on since you became a double 2-time father.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I've been quite ill the last week as well, so I'm coughing. Luckily, my mum is mute to it, so if I go dead, you'll know where I am.
What do we do? Do we congratulate your bodily functions for creating babies, or I don't know, what do we do?
You congratulate his loins.
Yeah, I think so. Sort of.
Don't start me coughing.
Erling job impregnated my wife.
Classic stuff. Joe, but you had the night off on Monday of last week. You went down to Colchester to watch England under-20s with quite the Ipswich Town representation. What happened? Who did you see, and how were the Ipswich boys?
I saw the England band as I sat 2 seats behind me with a drum in my ear for 90 minutes, which was ideal. The game, sort of first 35 minutes, England were pulled all over the place by Germany, but for the keeper would be down. But then they changed the shape a little bit, got back on top and won 2-0, but it was probably unjust. I think a draw would been much fair. Trev Chalobah was at centre back, captain in England. He looked pretty comfortable as he generally does, but it's a little bit because when he makes a mistake, he is able to just physically overstep people to get back. Where, as you see, playing in the midfield, you can see why he's not at centre back, because he does still make big errors every now and again. But he looks a good player, good passing from the back. Dazelle didn't get in the game as much as I think he did a lot.
Did he play
being overrun when he was playing
deep, Joe, or was he further forward?
Well, it started out as sort of a 4-2-3-1 with him as one alongside Sam Field at West Brom. But when we were getting overrun, we changed it round to sort of 4-1-2-3. So he then became one of the more full field and he did get more involved with the ball there. But again, the game sort of really passed him by in a number of ways. And then Flynn Downs came on for maybe 2 or 3 minutes at the end. I'm not sure if he even touched the ball, to be honest, but it was good to get the third, good to get him on and sort of in that squad. It's a decent squad.
So sorry, Joe. What was the score? 2-0.
2-0, yeah.
To England.
To England, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I should imagine Germany had some, as usual, technical players. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, they had a really good right back and right winger that just were causing us all sorts of problems in the first half. But they just score a number 9. They had a good number 10 as well, but they just did not have that guy to stick the ball in the net at the top of the pitch.
Well, I'm talking about technical German players, and I know Ben is going to shut me down, and he probably didn't see it, but Leroy Sané yesterday, discuss. Oh my God!
Didn't
look at Ben.
Didn't see it.
Don't pretend he didn't.
You can take your Leroy Sané, and what I saw from Alan Hutton today will overdo that. Big style.
And, Joe, and the old Copa Libertadores. I mean, what was going on there last night? Or what wasn't going on?
That was mad. Well, yeah, it's been cancelled again today, but there was... Yeah, it was supposed to be tonight. Yeah, having another meeting tomorrow. So I don't know where we are with it now, but there's been a big talk-up, because it's basically the 2 biggest rivals playing, and it's a Champions League second leg of the semi-final. They drew the first leg 2-2. That game was moved a day because of flash flood, so they had to move it to the next day. And then, but yesterday, river, and the Boca team bus was attacked on the way into the ground. But when I say attacked, it was ransacked. Every window smashed, and when the window was smashed, tear gas sort of thrown into the bus, so the players can hardly breathe. The captain was taken to hospital with glass shards in his eye.
Jesus, I didn't know that. Oh my God!
FIFA was still saying that if they didn't play the game, they'd be disqualified from it, even though they had players being sick in the dressing room. I think cast amongst them because they couldn't catch their breath because they'd just been tear gassed, and then common sense prevailed.
Only in Argentina.
Well, just before the game, the police were outside firing rubber bullets into the crowd, and it was absolute carnage.
Yeah, proper. Anyway, Ben. So you'll get to. I thought you said you were going to Villa today. Lived up to all expectations. I know we'll get there in a little while.
We will get there. I didn't manage to get to Argentina, but I would have been disappointed if I had. One man who might not be disappointed though, Dave, in January might be Jonas Knudsen, because he might generate himself a pay rise in any number of ways. So this is the beginning of the dance between agents and Ipswich and Knudsen and wherever he ends up. So I've got some quotes for you, Dave, and then you can give me your thoughts. I'm out of contract in the summer and I've not heard anything from the club or owner. I will also look at my own situation, and for January the window opens again when I can also freely talk with other clubs. Then we will have to take it from there. I have to look after myself. I've played over 160 matches lately and have not heard anything. So that is how it is. What would you do if you were Knudsen, and what would you do if you were Ipswich?
Yeah, I mean, if I was Knudsen, I'd talk myself up like he has been, for sure. Looking at it, it's a tough one, that. I mean, look. January, we could conceivably, sell him and bring in a left back in January. But I think you nailed it. I think on one day last week, I think it was your tweet when you said, Ken Lock, get yourself ready and fit for January. I think you said, and you probably summed it up pretty well there.
But Dave, if you're Knudsen and Tony Pulis is sniffing around, you could be in the Premier League 5 months later.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course you're going to talk it up. You can't blame him for talking it up. I think he's probably thinking he's a much better footballer than he actually is. But there you go.
Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he's here next year. At the end of the day, they're a lot more. He's a lot more versatile and is good, isn't he? Being in Denmark, any of these German teams, if they show any interest, his horizons aren't just limited to the UK, are they? Ultimately, he's Denmark international left back.
Yeah, he's got good physical attributes, as we always said. He's strong, isn't he? And he can. I think. When I saw him last year, he was much better left-sided centre back. I saw him play. I thought some of his best football for us, didn't you?
But look, if Rowett was only prepared to bid 1 million in summer, then that figure will drop down to $750,000.
Of course it will.
If there's only a few months left on the contract. So it looks like he's holding all the cards there, doesn't he? But
it does. I mean. He's not having a great season, but he's not having a great season, is he, for goodness sake? I think it's fair to say that.
I just don't see why he'd sign for anyone else in January. He's either going to sign a pre-contract in January or sit on his contract. Yeah. He's going to get a better deal. Why is he going to allow Ipswich to take 500,000 when that money could go in his back pocket effectively by sitting out? And ultimately, do we really want to lose? We'd probably rather keep him until the end of the season as well.
And some lovely technical problems there. What will be interesting is to see if we remember whether I remember to edit that out or not, and we'll let the viewers behind the curtains there. Joe, moving on to another European type player. Bart Bialkowski was doing press on Thursday. They do it now, don't it? Thursday. And he was asked about being dropped by Paul Hurst and was quoted as saying, the manager just, this is prior to the Norwich game, 1st of September or thereabouts. The manager just read the team out in the dressing room. That's how I found out. I've never been told anything. I never spoke to the old gaffer, previous manager, that's funny, before it or after it. So I was disappointed, obviously. All I had to do was keep training hard and do it for myself that I would be ready again. This got made a big deal of it, and a lot of people were kind of pointing to this as, is this where Hurst, quote, I'll throw the cliche out, lost the dressing room? What do you think, Joe?
I think so. I think we've spoken a number of times about this Norwich game as one where it all seemed to go wrong. That seemed to be the last game where he was trying to do it his way, and then after that it was just change, and no real structure, no real purpose to the. You sort of hear a lot of bits about Bart. I'd heard this before, that he'd just been dropped like this, and also that I think he hinted at some other comments, but that was and Doig talking on the dressing room about how they couldn't believe he was our highest paid player, and just lost respect of the changing room at that point. And I've senior players would tell you that off the record, the changes and excuses.
I don't think from day one they ever had the respect. I don't think.
Well, I think maybe when they were never going to give it to him, they'd probably been trying, and that coupled with bad results. And like I say, the players were training on the Bent Lane pitch on the Saturday, because I walked up there to watch the under-18s, and I walked through the training pitch and got told off for it, but I didn't want to walk around. And they'd finished training. Bart had been training as the keeper in that much changed team, and then it wasn't until the team was announced that Gherkin was announced in the team. And apparently he was dropped back for Bart at Leeds. The same thing happened. He didn't tell Gherkin he was dropping him. Bart was just back in the team there.
Yeah. All a little bit cowardly, methinks. But there we go. And you could see Mr. Paul Hurst on EFL Matters on Sky on Thursday. I haven't watched it, but take a look. I'm sure if you've got Sky, you can see it. Dave, Paul Lambert invited a small group of fans, including the Blue Action group. You can follow them at Blue Action 1878 to Playford Road, and again is bigging up the connection between fans and team. What do you think of that as an idea, Joe? Dave, sorry.
Joe, sorry. Yeah, excellent. Again, as excellent PR again. He's done it. He did it a couple of weeks ago with Burley, Butcher, and John Walk. Just great PR. Can only help.
Joe.
Yeah, no, good idea. He seems to be doing all the right things at the moment. I've heard that he had in the pre-match meeting as well on Friday night with the players, and that was Lambert's request to get Evans in there for the meeting as well. So he's really pulling everyone in from all directions.
Yeah,
doing a good job of it.
Very interesting, very interesting. Right, here he comes. Are you ready for him? He's back. Mick McCarthy has been appointed Republic of Ireland manager until 2020, with Stephen Kenny taking over. He's going to do the under-21s until then. Is this a good move for him? And are you either pleased, Dave, or disappointed that you won't be seeing the circus of him returning in the away dugout?
Yeah, slightly disappointing. But my immediate reaction to this was, what the hell does Stat think about it? Which made me smile a lot, thinking to myself. That was quite funny. And then when I saw he was bringing in Keane as one of his assistants, I thought, well, Roy, that'll be interesting. But obviously, Roy's just gone. It's Robbie, isn't it? TC's back in work. Good news. I think it was great stuff for him. Yeah, I mean, it's good for McCarthy, and I think it's up to the Euros, isn't it, in 2020? And then apparently this guy Kenny, who's ex-Dundalk manager or something, he's going to bring the under-21s through to the full squad. And I did again. He can't. This is typical McCarthy. I think he said, who knows if we get to the final and win it, they They might want me to stay, or I'll pick up a job with a Premier League club. So you can't.
Yada. When you've been sat where we've been sat, it's not funny anymore, is it? yada. Joe, I think this is we've always said he's quite a clever operator. I think this is quite smart, because he can't really lose being Ireland manager, because if he does badly, he can just blame the lack of players, and probably then come back in. What is he late? Is he late 50s?
Yeah, late 50s.
Yeah, late 50s. Probably come back into a job. And you know what it's like when managers disappear from jobs. For some reason, their stock goes up. That managers get better the less games they manage, don't they? Your thoughts on McCarthy, Joe?
They're not so much damaged goods, are they?
No.
Well, realistically, they should qualify for the next Euros with the 52 countries or 53 countries. So realistically, he should get them to another major finals, and I'd imagine he'll do okay there. He'll probably be terrible the last 3 months under O'Neill and Keane, and I don't think there's a very good spirit in the camp.
No.
He'll do some work on sort of getting the players back enjoying it, maybe youngsters trying to decide between Ireland and England over to their side. He's already mentioned about Declan Rice, but I'm just surprised that Mick would drive a driverless car.
Dave?
I think Joe, in comment to Joe, I didn't hear what Joe said. He broke up there.
He's very surprised that Mick would drive a driverless car, as in be caretaker again.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You would think, though, a manager like Mick, where it's straightforward instructions rather than some kind of philosophy that takes years to bed in, you know, international management is probably quite good for, you know, for that type of kick it in the corners, press.
I mean, I think he did. What did he do? 6 seasons before? Must have been mid-90s.
96 to 2002.
Obviously 2002. Okay, yeah. Well, look, you know, I think I think his stock is still reasonably high in Ireland. I mean, every time I used to go to Dublin on business and stuff, you get in a taxi and no one's really got a bad word to say about Mick McCarthy over there.
No, he's good at that. The old no one's got a bad word to say about him, isn't he? There we go. On February the 16th, Blue Monday Live is taking place at the Curve Bar in Ipswich. It's going to be a live podcast. All of the presenters are going to be there. Lots of different segments we're leading. This is after the Stoke game. And I believe Norwich would have been the week before and possibly Derby on the midweek.
I couldn't help thinking sitting at home last night about 9 o'clock, thinking, "Oh God, if it wasn't for Sky, we'd be in the thick of it now."
We would in the thick of it. There you go. Tickets eventbrite.co.uk. We're doing pretty well. Another few went this week, so get involved. We know what these things are like from our end. You think, "Oh, I don't worry about buying a ticket," and then there's a mad rush at the last minute. So a lot of people have already got theirs. We thank them very kindly. It's a bit of fun, and we were asked to do it loads and loads in the past. So February the 16th, Blue Monday Live at the Curve Bar, eventbrite.co.uk. Just search in the search facilities and you will find it there. Someone who found their way also to Ipswich were West Bromwich Albion, who found their way here on Friday night. First of all, before we go into the nuts and bolts, can we have a word about the atmosphere very quickly? Ticket promotions, Carl Fuller's campaign, cheerleaders, clappers. They tried, didn't they? The club tried, Dave.
Yeah, they did, and I think it made for certainly got more bodies through the door. Was it 22 and a half, something like that, just over? Fantastic. Yeah, and the clappers are great for the kids and stuff. There are a lot of geezers around. I mean, we're bloody clappers, you know. But here's the thing for you, Joe. What would you rather have, the band at Cole U or the clappers at PR? What do you think? Well, is it not much choice?
No, I don't actually mind the claps. I know they're a bit sort of laughed upon, but they do actually like. I mean. And there is more noise with the clappers there because people do actually sit there. It's like they've got something in their hand to do it with, so they don't actually bother me that much.
Nah, I mean, what was good was up the in the Sir Bobby was that the Blue Action crowd with the flags.
That looked great, didn't it?
That did look really good. I mean, I'm not sure. It was great at first, and I reading about it, it all got a bit half-hearted after a while. Well, yeah, it would do, I suppose, but no, that looked really good.
Yeah, excellent. Nice to see. Felt like a big game for once down there. Right, Ipswich unchanged. Bielkowski in goal. At right back, Dave.
Spence.
Oh, he's not very high on Spence today, Joe. There we go. Chambers, Pennington, Knudsen across the back. Skews sat in front of them with Chalobah and Downs slightly ahead of him. Off to the right, Edwards. Off to the left, Sears. Jordan Roberts up front on his own against Higazi and Dawson. All right, Johnston in goal for West Brom. Adarabioyo, thanks Harry for that pronunciation on Friday. Dawson, Higazi, Gibbs left back. Livermore setting for them, same system really. Morrison and Phillips. Robson, Kanu, Rodriguez. Oh, Rodriguez was good. Barnes up front.
Ben, was it the player or was it the hair?
We'll talk about him. Before we start this, West Brom have some blokes in their shirts who are good at football.
Oh, exactly. Exactly what I was going to say. Before you start, you compare the two sides. My God, there's no comparison. And they brought on probably one of the most experienced, near the end, one of the most experienced ever Premier League. Well, made the most appearances in the Premier League, or he had at one point, didn't he?
And as we coined him as well, the Sergio Aguero of Championship football as well, on the bench coming back from injury. Right, let's do this. Let's go through. I won't go too big a detail. We'll just find our way up to the first goal, and then I'll come to you, Joe, for that one. So West Brom corner, headed back and flipped over, close in by Rodriguez. Well, Marshall. Pennington takes a yellow on Robson Kanu in the first 10 minutes. Knudsen, good effort at the back post, dipping half volley. That was the closest we were getting to the goal. West Brom counter. Barnes, Rodriguez back to Barnes. The first, I said in my I've just witnessed, the first of the lightning fast, watch them coming over the hill type counter-attacks that absolutely scared the crap out of most of us. Phillips free kick into the box, 2 bounces, great chance for Higazi. Didn't sort his feet out, centre-half finish. Should have scored on 26 minutes. With Ipswich looking very narrow, you can take this one, Joe. Here comes Kieran Gibbs.
Yeah, decent ball over to Gibbs, who's got a hell. Spence seemed to tuck inside, which is obviously what he'd been told to do because he was doing it all night. And then he sort of gets across to him, and Gibbs is up 1 against 1 with it. Could probably do a bit better in blocking the cross. Cross goes over, but it's not the best cross. It goes all the way across. Was it to Morrison it goes across to?
Phillips, I think. Phillips, wasn't it?
Phillips loops it back over deep. Gibbs has just run off the back of Spence, and Spence has lost him. Falls to Gibbs, knocks it across, nips in front of his marker, and can't miss really from 2 yards.
Dave?
It was a bad goal. I mean, I wouldn't say Spence initially was too bad. The ball across the box, fine, was going nowhere. Knudsen just shows no urgency. All right, Phillips gets the ball under and hits it over early. Good deep cross, you've got to say. But if you look at that goal back, Knudsen just ambles out towards him. He's got to put it in there. Yeah, good ball in, and I think Spence gets guilty. He's ball watching is basically what he's doing. And yeah, good from Gibbs, just knocks it back in an area, and I think he nips in front of Pennington. I think it was such a simple goal, but bad, really. Another bad one, really. Yeah. And Knudsen, he's got to show more urgency.
I agree with all of that. I think Joe's probably right that Spence has been asked to tuck in, but the problem you get when someone's that tucked in, if you look at the challenge Spence actually makes on Gibbs, they're coming from too far apart, and it's easy for him to take him on because he's too far away. And Dave, I totally agree with you. I was the gobby fan going, as that ball came across, yelling, "Don't let him get a crossing! Don't let him get a crossing!" And it was like he hedged his bets and did neither. And I also thought Spence thought he'd got away with it, didn't he? And the ball's looping over.
Did. Yeah. I think he probably did. And Joe's right. He was so far tucked in that he just lost his man. That was ball watching. Yeah, the bad goal again.
On we go. Rodriguez out to Robson Kanu. So it'd be fair to say that West Brom, it was they were edging it before the goal, and then they streaked ahead up until half time. Rodriguez.
I just thought we looked a bit laboured. We just
after the goal.
Definitely. Just really didn't quite show the same urgency. So, for instance, as I thought we had at Reading, maybe the goal had something to do with it and rocked you back a bit. But I didn't think we played well first half.
Interesting. Rodriguez on 39 out to Robson Kanu. He tries a curler. Another West Brom counter from an Ipswich corner. More of that later. Skews does exactly what Knudsen did and just backs off, surrenders. Squared to Rodriguez. He takes too long, almost too relaxed, and Chalobah throws himself in the way of it. Joe, have you got anything to add on that first half?
I don't bad as has been made out since that the first half we were totally sort of dominated against and lucky to sort of still be in the game. I thought West Brom was just a very good side in the count. We just struggle. We're technically not. Our players technically aren't very good. So when we get the ball in tight areas under a bit of pressure, we struggle to keep the ball, and that was all that was happening.
And also first half
some loose passes.
First half more than anything, Roberts. I mean, he was just totally out muscled by
Oh,
Yeah.
but this is a
Dawson.
Crawley reserve against two
Yeah.
Tony Pulis Premier League
Absolutely.
centre backs.
Absolutely.
And Higazi
I
realised.
felt sorry for him. I
But
felt
Dave,
sorry for him.
Higazi realised after about 5 minutes that this guy's terrified of me, and then he started defending more aggressively, and he was just bumping him about. And
Yeah, no, to be fair to him, he didn't drop his head, and then there was one or two quite nice touches when he got the ball into feet. But when the ball was pinging in him at the air, just felt sorry for the lad, really.
Yeah, that was the emotion I thought. I wasn't angry at him. I was just like, look.
No,
Crawley.
He was trying.
Crawley reserve. Yeah. So we go 45 to 55 is Ipswich's best period, I would suggest. Edwards, nice through ball for Roberts. Gets behind Higazi for once, but he recovers. A couple of corners. Pretty decent ones, actually. Roberts gets something on one, trickles towards the line, but cleared off. Chalobah shoots from another one. Shaves a nice. Chalobah did that against Brentford to set the goal up when he's stationary, and he just accelerates. Well, I'd love to see him do that more. It's a really, really good move he's got in the bag.
He played well the other night.
Another corner for Town. This one cleared. Quick free kick, and Pennington drives and panics a little bit. Really good start to the second half. I thought, Joe, they showed more urgency at the start of the second half than they did at the first.
I think they just seemed to believe in themselves a bit more.
Yeah.
And when they got the ball on, it wasn't such a hot potato, the ball, when they had it. They time to have a touch, look up and make the pass, rather than trying to hit it first time and just giving it straight back all the time. I think it sort of maybe Lambert just told him, look, slow it down a bit. When you first touch, make sure you get it under control and make sure you pick a pass. There was no point just keep giving it away time and time again.
Okay. Adarabioyo intercepts, slides it forward to Phillips. He's 50-50 with Pennington. Pennington is on a yellow card and completely pulls out of this tackle. In goes Phillips behind, cross to the back post to Barnes. He controls it. He hits the outside of the post, but I think Bart's probably got that one. He's right on the post, and he's probably got that one.
You'd think so. Yes, inside.
Good play down the left. Chalobah freed up, drives forward, shoots low, wide right. Ted Bishop comes in on 63. I'm sure we were all playing the same game. Who's Ted Bishop going to come on for? And I thought this was brave by Lambert, because I thought, he's guaranteed to keep his midfield solid and stick him in one of the wide positions up front. But he takes Downs out. He wasn't having a bad game, and it's more, Ruud Gullit would say, changing the triangle round. So Chalobah drops back a bit, and you have two, and then Bishop a bit further forward. So nice to see him. Rodriguez, high, wide, and handsome. Robson Kanu gets fed in, moves it to the right, shoots near post. Białkowski kind of fumbles it, but makes the save in the end. Amazing hold up from Rodriguez on 69, feeds Robson Kanu, shoots straight at Białkowski. Dave, where did this come from on 70? Ball dropping out of the air, and Jonas Knudsen plays a right foot volleyed pass over his shoulder into the space in front of Roberts. I know you don't like Knudsen. That's probably the best bit of skill I've ever seen him do in my life.
I don't dislike him.
No,
but
sorry, I'm not.
Yeah. No, that was something you didn't expect to see. Nor was his shot. I don't know if you mentioned his shot. He had a hell of an effort first. Yeah, sorry, I glazed over. But yeah, that was certainly unexpected.
Cross goes in from Roberts, and Edwards gets up, heads over. We almost get done by Route 1. West Brom boot it down the middle. It's flicked on, quick pass, and Rodriguez is clean through. Again, he takes too long. I thought he was great, but he should have had a hat trick in this game. Spence comes in and makes the last ditch tackle this time. Dawson, I thought, good chance from this one, because Białkowski loses this, heads down and over. And Dave, here we go. I hate these ones. I hate these ones where I have to set you up by saying it's an Ipswich corner on 76, and this is rubbish.
After the game, going back, behind the Cobbold stand in a practice pitch, I heard this father and his two sons. I think he was incandescent with raging about this goal and how it was our corner, and that should never happen. And his sons didn't know whether to sort of laugh or cry. He had a head off about it. What a shocker! So initially, it's a poor corner from Bishop. I mean, it looks like he stubs his toe. It's like a Larson Torre special.
Larson Torre gets a mention.
Larson Torre.
Tick it off. Bingo.
Hey. Knew I'd get it in. And initially, Knudsen does quite well. It doesn't get beyond him, doesn't get above sort of chest high, so he brings it down, he runs it out of the box, gives it back to Bishop. That's when he should have put it in first time, and this is when it all gets a bit fuzzy, really, doesn't it? Because he then brings it inside, and it's comedy. He then seemingly runs into Edwards. I think it's nicked off them by, I believe, Gibbs. Could be, I think it was Gibbs. Ball makes its way out wide to Phillips, who's got
one person you do not want it to go to on a counter.
He's not got the biggest legs you've ever seen. My Christ! He makes ground, and Barnes is just pulling off. He's an intelligent player, pulling off wide right. Plays across the pitch to Barnes, and dangerous, coming in on his left foot, right side of the penalty area, drops his shoulder. To be fair to Bart, hits it early and it goes through Spence, doesn't it? Inside Bart's near post, but I don't think you can do too much blame to Bart there. Just hits it early and he's a bit unsighted, but it's a terrible goal again. Terrible
Joe,
goal.
The damage is done. All your defenders are forward, and Bishop and Edwards. Anything else to add?
Well, I'd said in the first half to my brother-in-law at the game, I said, every time we get a corner, I feel like we're more likely to concede from it than score from it. Obviously, later in the game that happened, but sort of Bishop and Edwards, I think they just sort of left it to each other, didn't they? And then they both went for it, and you wanted one of them to... And I think they both tried, but both failed, and it was just so disappointing from 1-0 down with a corner, hoping to create a chance to get back on terms to what effectively felt like game over, even though it didn't quite turn out that way.
Agreed. Lancaster in for Edwards. That was a inauspicious last touch for Edwards, wasn't it? Jackson in for Roberts. Nice work, Chalobah on 82. Jackson away down the left, drives inside, shoots to the near post. Phillips yellow for time wasting. But Dave, we have a goal, and Jack Lancaster's on the right wing, and he's going to dribble it out of play, is he? No.
Absolutely out of nothing. Initially, I think it's Chalobah. I thought had an excellent second half. Really good.
He wins a really good tackle, doesn't he, Dave?
Oh, great. Yeah. It's a brilliant skill in front. I don't know where you sat. Right, some great skill in front.
Put it straight back.
Front of us. Wins it. It goes. It looks like it's running out, and fair play to Lancaster, who keeps it in. Brings it inside. It sort of clips the ball in, bit of a nothing ball. Deflects, I think, up off Gibbs. And a horrific touch by
Adaraboyo.
And it's a very similar finish by Jackson to Sears at Reading, isn't it? He's in on goal, gives the keeper the eye side foot, so he can't miss from there. 2-1, and West Brom must think they should have really been out of sight, shouldn't they? But made for a interesting last few minutes, didn't it?
Joe, anything on that one?
I thought Jackson sort of did well to anticipate it and took it well, but he couldn't really miss. But it's hopefully be good for his confidence to get a goal.
Third one now, I guess. So they're coming slowly. Gareth Barry comes in for his 9 millionth game on for Morrison. We go into stoppage time, and West Brom are seeing it out pretty well. Gibbs takes the yellow on 93, and then we have a free kick, 94th minute, over right-hand edge of the penalty box. Jack Lancaster's going to line it up. We're all going to get very excited, lots of anticipation, and I'm told that one actually clipped the post, Dave.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. I didn't know. I heard it. Someone said on the phone on the way home that on Radio Suffolk that it clipped the post, and obviously saw it when I got back in. And look, you'd have thought keeper perhaps had it covered, so it hit more the outside of the post. But tell you what, for a lad, a lot of pressure on him. Fair play for having a dig from there, because it'd just been easy for him to just put it in a area. Do you know what I mean? But he obviously had a go. Bit unlucky, but Christ, it would have been a bit unjust on West Brom.
I agree with you, Dave, but what you have to say is, and we're into summarising now, final whistle goes, is that you could be 4th in the league and play at home to West Brom, and, the game could go that way, let alone 24th. And you have to say that, shoot me down for my optimism, that against a very good West Brom, let me rephrase that, against a West Brom side full of very good players, you're one kick away from drawing.
Yeah, no, you're in the game. No, fair comment. Yeah, you've kept in the game.
And under Lambert, we have scored in every game. Joe, do you want to summarise first, and then we'll go to Dave?
Yeah, no, it's sort of similar to what you were saying we kept in the game, and especially after going 2-0 down, conceding a dreadful goal with 10 minutes left. Like if you see how different that was to the moments a few weeks back where we were 2-0 down and it might as well have been 22-0 for how far we were still in the game. It's just really good to see. I've liked what I've seen of Lamb, but you can really see what he's trying to get us to do. I think not having a striker is holding us back big time, because
massively.
Whilst Roberts has done well enough in the games, he was really shown up for what he is on Friday night, and that is a player who was brought here as a project, who was a sort of League Two reserve last season, playing out on the wing and playing in a different role, and just have to hope that Ellis Harrison is going to be back in the next sort of week or so. It sounds like he's close.
I think he would be a good fit at the moment. I think he would. Yeah. How do you see the under 23s, Joe? What's Falami? How's he doing?
Well,
progress.
I thought it sort of a poor pre-season, really. He'd been out on the left rather than through the middle a lot, but he seems to have picked up a lot of confidence from going away with Australia. He's come. Yeah. But again, he's more been playing out from the left hand side rather than through the middle. So,
and I did see, which was also nice to see, I did see young Ben Morris scored his first goal, didn't he, yesterday?
Yeah, his first start as well. I don't know what's happened. He's been barely getting a minute, but he started. He scored a goal. He set up effectively. I don't know whether he would have got the assist for it, but he pulled it back to sort of two players who scored, and he looked like he was causing them a few problems. And hopefully that will be a chance for him to get a run again. Yeah, because I really think in the sort of style we're playing, that Lambert's playing with a 4-3-3, he'd be a good sub as one of the wide strikers, and he's
that little cameo the first game of the season when he came on, he's unlucky not to score when he brings it inside and stuff. I was a bit surprised that even after that to see him go out really, but there you go.
Okay, let's go on and let's do these Twitter questions. So we will go one at a time. I'm sure there's plenty. Normally we don't need to summarise because we have to. We get this all in the Twitter questions. Dave, Super France, Wednesday feels absolutely massive. If we're going to win a game before Christmas, home versus a mid-table side coming a long distance like Bristol City seems where we have to start. When was our last game with such significance?
Wow. That's a hard. I couldn't say. That's a really hard one. I mean, I think. Their form isn't great. I think they've just lost four on the trot. I think. We need desperately. We need a win on Wednesday. I mean, what we haven't had. I mean, it's been great in the feel goods back, and we love to see his passion and on the touchline and stuff. But we still haven't had the new manager bounce as such yet, have we? Two draws and a defeat. All right. West Brom was almost a given, but still, the pressure, we're not on him, but the pressure will mount until we get that first win.
Joe, this is Alistair. Having perhaps justifiably criticised Hurst for being disrespectful in dropping him, is it equally disrespectful for Bart to then allude to other issues, yet not detail them and leave people speculating?
I think I've probably touched the podcast with regards to them, the sort of management team effectively calling him out as a highest paid player loudly in front of the other players, and I don't choose whether it is he didn't want to dig Hurst out further or whether it's something else off his back. I don't know, but I think he felt he'd said enough and just needed to move on.
Okay. Dave, this is Harry Butcher. Thoughts on Spence last 3 games, and would you start he's put Lancaster on Wednesday?
Spence hasn't been particularly brilliant certainly last 2. He was caught out, as we said, perhaps for the first goal at Reading for sure. And didn't cover himself in glory the other night. I mean, what has been interesting is that I think Lambert's come out and said about Donatian. There's been 1 or 2 people who mentioned Donatian, and I think it's a bit worrying. He's come out and said he sees him long term as a centre back. Have you seen? I think he's came out and said that, which I thought when Donatian's played fullback, he's done really, really well, and his delivery when he's been in the right position, has been absolutely brilliant. So that's an odd one, but I'd go with Lancaster, fit him in somewhere on Wednesday. Yeah, throw him in.
Joe, this is Muller.
Joe, do you think Lancaster?
I'd give him a start.
Yeah,
he seems to have that edge, doesn't he? Just sort of the balls to step up in the last minute, 23,000 on Sky as a sub and just have a go at it.
Yeah, fantastic.
He improved when he came on. I'd just give him a go. You can't lose.
No.
Also, just back to Donatian. I know that was Dave's, but obviously Lambert had Donatian at Villa.
That's a very good point.
One of the coaching stuff, I can't remember who it was talking about how they had Donatian on loan when they were from Villa when they were at Tranmere. So maybe Stuart Taylor was at Tranmere and had Donatian there. So they obviously know the player relatively well.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
Okay. Who's that? Joe. This is Mullet. Did the Lambert blueprint of the last 3 games come undone against West Brom, or just show that we aren't in their league? Was that our 6-0 at Leicester moment, alluding to McCarthy there, or just more evidence Hurst has fiddled while Ipswich burned beyond repair?
Yeah, I'm worried by the game against West Brom, but like you say, we stayed in against a team which had some sort of brilliant attacking players. You looked at the team sheet and which one of them in our team when you see it, and I know that they were just a good team. We stayed in it. We did some stuff well. We had more shots under any games under Hurst. We had 8 corners. I'm not too worried about possession because they were letting us have it, but to get that many set pieces and to have that many attempts on goal, a side like that is good.
Their lineup, when you look at it, was frighteningly good, really. Because I forgot, because Gale was on the bench, for Christ's sake. I mean, it was just, different world, really.
Dave, this is Adam Williams. After taking some steps forward in Paul Lambert's first 2 matches, has the West Brom result and performance seen us take any of those back? Similar question.
I don't think so. No, as I said. And anything we'd got out of the other night, would have been a bonus. I think with the other night, the big games, the Bristol City one. No, I don't think so. And I think we can take some encouragement from the second half display.
Okay, I'll stay with you, Dave. MW1, who will be leaving in January? Knudsen and Spence is my guess. Fullback's a priority alongside a lone striker.
I tend to agree with Joe that I think perhaps Knudsen will stay to the end of the season now. Spence. No, surely more likely to be maybe Nolan and Enciala moving on, perhaps.
Joe, this is Sean Hassey. Couldn't get to the game on Friday. Just in the highlights, thought Spence had a bit of a shocker. What positions do we strengthen in January, and what sort of players do we want? Experience or youth Premier League?
I think we need a striker, and we probably potentially even 2 strikers. You probably need youth Premier League and experience. Sort of, you need to try both because we are just so short up there of quality. Mavis Harrison will come in and come good, but I think it's just all about a striker at the moment. I think right back could improve, especially if Donatian is being viewed as a centre half now. We're going to be in there, so like I said, right back and a striker would do me.
Okay. Dave, this is Jax Larder. Am I the only one worried that we spent the first half trying to play a long ball to Sears against an absolute giant of a right back and didn't seem to have a plan B for it?
Yeah, well, that did seem, that was evident first half, wasn't it? But like I said, that they certainly didn't play that way second half. So I think the lesson was learned there.
Pete Carr is also asking about fullbacks. Thanks, Pete. I think we got that one. This is Tim. We cry out for a centre midfield to collect the ball and turn the game. Could Teddy Andre do this? So can I parlay that, Joe? Would he take out one of those solid midfielders and use a deep line playmaker in a 4-3-3, or does he want that screen?
I think he's always going to want to have the screen. I can imagine if Scouse is fit, he's going to play, and if he's not fit, I'd imagine Chalobah will drop into that role. But it's just who fits in the other 2 midfield roles, which is going to be the key. And he should put Bishop in one of those at Downs' expense. So I'm not sure about Dazelle at the moment, whether he'd fit in one, but ultimately we're going to need to have a screen. Those 2 are going to probably change depending on the opposition and what we're looking to achieve that game.
Interesting.
I mean, Bishop clearly didn't look totally on it, did he, the other night? Not surprisingly.
I thought, Dave, there was enough there to show that he can do something that nobody else in the team can do.
Perhaps. Yeah.
Well, he wins that free kick, being up on his own against 2 players and getting taken out and winning the dangerous free kick just by gliding past people.
And just you say gliding past people, he does it in a different way than Edwards does. I think his close control is possibly slightly better. I think Edwards uses his pace.
He's a bit of a drifter, isn't he, Bishop? Yeah. He drifts past people. Yeah. Nice stylish footballer.
Mick Lumley, Dave. Dear Doctor, do you think I'll ever be able to look at the league table again without getting a serious urge to hurt Paul Hurst?
I think, the league table does not look good, does it? I mean, we'll get on to why in a little while.
Oh, my God, don't. I was in the car when that was going down yesterday. It was...
Oh, God.
And we've gone to the Liberty Stadium. Stop going to the damn Liberty Stadium.
Don't want to go there.
TalkSport, don't go there. Sam James, would you replace Spence with Donassi and Joe?
I would, personally. I've liked Donassi, but it doesn't sound likely that it's going to happen.
No. Dave, Phil Bohr, how much of a must-win game is Wednesday? Can you quantify it? Does he want a number?
It is a million % we need to win. We really do, don't we? My God, it is a big game, I think. And again, we'll get to the other results in a minute, but the cap is getting, every other set of games, and the games don't quite go for you. Those points get further away, harder to make up. But it's massive game, particularly against a team that have just lost 4 on the trot. If ever there's a game, that's the one.
Is it as big as a hot air balloon, or maybe as big as a cinema?
Glimpse.
Is it as big as Anne Hegarty? By the way, how good is Harry Redknapp on
love
I'm a Celeb?
Oh, brilliant. Love it.
Unbelievable.
It's great in the jungle. She's just my only contribution is to answer. I don't like this, don't like that, can't do this, can't do that, but I can answer general knowledge questions.
There we go.
Keep the spirit up.
Simon asks about Lancaster. I think we covered that. Thanks, Simon. Jules. Hey, Jules. Asks about right back and left back. Also, thoughts on Connor Wickham being one of the January transfer targets. Mikey might know more about that with his Crystal Palace hat. Joe, Connor Wickham, too good? We're bottom of the league.
I'd say 1, too good, 2 too expensive.
We're going to have to spend some money on this striker in January, though. We can't leave it to chance. I don't know about Wickham's fitness record more than anything.
He hasn't played in about 3 seasons, has he?
No. Like I said, we are going to have to spend big, and it's going to be because we're not going to be able to commit permanent sign, and then are we?
No.
Okay. Here comes the Skews question for the week, Dave. You can have it this week. Skews is a player's player, but we need more out of him. Sorry, this is Timothy Hans. I think in January we could do with someone who does the Skews role and more. I would consider Skews to be more of a player to come on, like Gareth Barry, if we ever get to that point again. Could he also play right back? Skews is going nowhere, is he, Dave?
No, he isn't. He's going nowhere. Or certainly not leaving, and he's not leaving his place in the team either. Right back, I think, yes, he could have done. Certainly, I think he played quite a few matches for Bristol City at right back, but he's now, Joe, 32?
Yeah, 32, 33.
Yeah, no, I don't see him as a right back. No. But no, he'll be Skews will be a fixture in the team.
Did you notice the goal kicks had changed? They've been upgraded again, where the fullbacks went even further forward and the centre midfielders came in behind the fullbacks, presumably because Lambert wasn't happy with the way the fullbacks received the ball and wanted them further on. So there you go. He might end up hovering over there in some games, although he's got that quarterback position there, wasn't he? George Self, do you think Lambert will get a target man in January? Can't help thinking someone like Kiefer Moore would really help right now. I'll answer that. I've met Kiefer Moore. He doesn't want to come to Ipswich. Right. Phil Everson. Oh, crikey. There's a 3-part question. Which is the 3rd part? I don't know if there's a question in here, Phil. Given
observation.
That seemingly, I'm sorry, Phil. I can't order that into a question, but I'll have a look when they're answering the next one. Ian McIntyre says, wow, the more you hear about Hurst and Doig, the more he sounds like a complete idiot. Not sure the club wrecker will ever get a job at this level again. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I don't know if anyone heard Jason Giselle on Life's a Pitch yesterday, how he felt Andre was being punished. It felt like that at the start of the season, which sort of tallied up a couple of things I'd heard where Hurst wanted to send him out on loan. I think I remember that, and also Andre had basically been relegated to the under 23s, but out of the first team dressing room, which is presumably a big deal as well. Once you go back, and I don't know, they've done a lot of damage to this club. They're not going to get a championship job unless they get promoted into this league.
I agree. Rather sarcastic as well when he did bring Dizelle on. Is that all I need to do to get a cheer from the crowd? I think the quote, something to that effect. But we don't need to bury Paul Hurst anymore. I think he's done enough of a good job of that himself, hasn't he? Mr. V, where do you see Bishop fitting into Lambert's system? We kind of covered that, but Dave, he adds, is there a natural place for Dizelle to fit in? There doesn't appear to be. If there's no deep line playmaker or number 10, where can you put Dizelle in there?
No, not at the moment. No.
We'll stay with you then, Dave. This is Yucky Brain. Do you think, judging by the West Brom game, we will pick up any points by January? So just focus what you saw in the West Brom game.
Yeah, I think we did enough in the second half to certainly beat, win on Wednesday. We did enough this. We showed enough about us that we're capable of beating Bristol City on Wednesday, for goodness sake. What's the game after that? Forest away. Going to be difficult.
Away, hard.
Yeah, hard.
Stoke away.
So yeah, there's 3 points.
Dave, you can draw against the Gary Rowett team anytime. And then Wigan at home is another one. Sheffield United. They can be amazing, but they'll give you a blooming chance, because the centre-backs are halfway up the pitch most of the game, and they're not winning at the moment. And then QPR, Box Day, there are some chances there. And then you go to Middlesbrough, where you're going to probably
come up against a trench, aren't you?
But then again, Millwall home, you look in those home games, particularly, I know we haven't won a home game, but Bristol City, Wigan...
The thing is, Ben,
leave the Sheffield United one out, and then Millwall. There's something there, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, out of those games, I think we probably get to the point we need 10 points, don't we?
Yep. Last one, Andy G, Joe. Do you think we look like a nailed-on relegation side, or a half-decent team in an awful run of form / luck? Good question, that.
I don't think we look like a nailed-on relegation side. Evidence of the last 3 games, but the problem is we're starting with such a handicap that we could end up easily sort of down and cut adrift. But I think if we can stay 4 or 5 points adrift by January, we'll be okay.
Interesting. It's almost, Dave, too early to say, but I think you get to the point, if you lose at home to Bristol City and then you're looking at Forest away and Stoke away the next 2 games, you're starting to think...
You put it like that, that is how crucial that is to pick up 3 points. I don't mean a point won't be enough. 3 is crucial on Wednesday.
3 is the magic number, Dave, as
De La
Soul? De La Soul, was it?
Yeah.
De La Soul once. Did they also do Back to Life?
Soul to Soul.
Soul to Soul. And one of the guys in Soul to Soul...
Linkage.
He's Marlon Romeo's dad, the Millwall right back.
Oh, hell, good stuff like that.
Jazzy
tenuous pop trivia.
Tenuous Millwall trivia. God, I got hammered on the Millwall forum the other day. If anyone wants doing a match report, if anyone wants a laugh, going. Although maybe if you're Jewish, don't look at some of the things they called me, because they might offend you slightly. But yeah, I got a bit of a burial.
Did you ever see called on the Millwall message board?
Sorry?
Did you ever see what Harry was described as on the Millwall message board?
A busy see you next Tuesday, yes?
Oh, was he busy? Yeah.
Yes, but Harry loves Harry. So, Harry, how can you dislike Harry? I mean, for goodness sake, and Harry will be back on Friday with the must-listen preview show. Richard Woodward will be back. That'll be out all the normal places previewing the Forest game. Do we have to do this roundup? Let's just do the first game by...
you have got to do the first game. You got to give it a bit of coverage. Go on.
Swansea 1, Norwich 4. Is that enough?
They look good, don't they?
Can I just say that the incredible stat in that game is the first time in 3 consecutive league games they've scored 4 or more goals since 1933.
I'm almost getting to the point where, because I don't wish injury on anyone. I'm always getting to the point where I want Timu Puki to score 2 goals in every game and someone to go and buy him in January. Because
I mean, it just seemed. I mean, they played us, and again, we were the catalyst for it, weren't we? I mean, we should have won that game. It wouldn't have been unjust for us to win that game, would it? You know, we certainly could have done. And they've just been on a hell of a. It's 11th win in the last 14.
ridiculous.
Incredible.
Harry always talks about balance, and the one thing I'd say about that team is beautifully balanced. But I don't want to talk about Norwich.
Did you goal though?
Which one, sir?
Versus Anselina.
Oh,
their second goal.
What a shocker! I mean, the keeper. Well, the keeper plays a sort of. Is Selena even looking at it when the keeper plays it to him? I'm not sure he is. On the edge of the box.
Goal kick, so you'd hope.
He tries He tries his trick, but even deeper than when he used to do it under Mick, for Christ's sake.
He only used to do it under Mick when he was over the other side from the dugout, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Anyway,
Mick would have ran if it had done that what he did yesterday at Ipswich. Mick would have run on the pitch. Seriously,
it would have been like when Balotelli did that back heel in that friendly, and Mancini immediately substituted. It's like, no, off, not having it. Brentford 1, Borough 2. Dave, Brentford continued to slide. It wasn't total shithousery, but Borough still pushing on.
Yeah, they do. Again, I think they've only conceded. They conceded 10 yet. I'm not sure they've reached double figures yet. 9. Yeah, they'll be there or thereabouts, Ben.
There or thereabouts. Someone else who's there or thereabouts and probably did us some kind of favour, Joe, was Leeds, who beat Bristol City 2-0. And I'm clutching Josh Brownhill sent off, so he will not be at Portman Road. Lee Johnson switching the team around. Lots and lots. 4 defeats on the trot. Any thoughts on Leeds? We'll come to Bristol City at the end.
Now Kemar Roof and Pablo Hernandez are back. They seem to be back in the groove, really, don't they?
Yes, get into the groove, boy. Rotherham 2, Sheffield United 2, Dave. My God. We'll cut straight to the last goal because there's about 8 mistakes here, and Chris Wilder's face was rather hilarious. Rotherham keep drawing. Would I be right in thinking that they're probably at the absolute height of what they can do, Rotherham, here?
I hope so. I mean, that put them, after that point, that puts them 8 points above us.
But they've still got to come to Portman Road, Dave.
Well, they have to be perfectly honest. But yeah, that was, that was a cluster, that last goal, wasn't it? Bloody hell.
Horrific.
Good goal from Duffy. Their first goal was a really good goal. Great feet. He's a good player, isn't he?
I would say he's, other than Grealish, he's one of the best dribblers in the league, Duffy. Yeah. I think he's a really nice player.
And
super feet.
And Teddy Bishop as well.
There you go.
I thought Rotherham looked really they're very functional, but they should have won that game. That worried me watching them.
Yeah. Put it this way, our friend Jono would have been pleased with Dean Henderson's performance. Let's just say. I'll say no more. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Derby County 2. Derby still pushing on. Josh Lukai still clinging on there, Joe.
Quite funny actually. Sorry, Joe.
No, go ahead, Dave. Go
on. Good finish from Reach. That was like a tap in for Reach, wasn't it? lovely goal, lovely side for the finish. Wilson, that's a really good stat as well. Wilson scored, so that's his 15th. I think it's his 15th career goal. Never been on a losing side when he scored.
That's Ian Rush stuff.
Obviously, Hull and Derby. And Marriott scored. So Marriott, I think, is his 6th goal in 8 games. And I'm sure on Quest, they said Marriott's been touted with an England call-up.
Okay, interesting.
They did say that on Quest.
They did say that.
Did Ian Holloway or Chris Ualumo or something?
Yeah, you would think so. Yeah, if you get some
it was the match commentator.
Oh dear. Yeah. Well, we'll shift across to Joe for this one then. Hull 0, Nottingham Forest 2. This is Saturday's opponents. Probably doing us a favour now. We're at the point where we just want Hull, Bolton, Rotherham, Millwall, everyone to lose, don't we?
Yeah, Hull made a couple of good saves, but then they gave away a goal. It was a dreadful bit of defending where they sort of put the guy through for the goal and then deflection on the second one, and I presume Forest just shut the game up from that point.
I was at Villa Park today, you can see my excellent match review on our channel. There were 6 goals, but I'm only going to talk about one of them because with the game at 3-2, Alan Hutton, the Scottish Cafu, ran 60 yards, went through their midfield, put it onto his left foot and curled it into the corner on
yeah,
the
that was
run.
a great goal.
So, Dave, whatever I see this season, I've seen Swansea pass it out from their own 6-yard box to score against us, and I've seen Alan Hutton run from inside his own half. And
what was the atmosphere like?
Dave, the atmosphere was fantastic.
Was it white hot?
Not quite on that Millwall-Fulham level that I saw last year, but it beat Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday the other week. But Dave, there was 41,000 audience there, so really, really nice Villa on the.
Some good goals too, lovely, some really good assists. One for I think saw the cross for Grealish's header and stuff. There were some good goals in that game. And
Grealish is really stepping up now in that team, doing what his talent should do. Who am I on to? I'm on to Dave. Stoke 2, Rangers 2. Probably predictable result in the end, really.
Predictable result, not predictable scorer for Rangers. Bloody Angel Rangel got a brace, didn't he? I think it's his first goal, first goal for 5 seasons or something. Ridiculous affair.
But
Berahino even got one in that game, for Christ's sake. QPR sort of snapped. They're up to about 8th or 9th, I think.
Another one like Rotherham, probably at the height of the pep. They finished there. He's done a super job. Someone else who's in great form, Joe. Preston 4, Blackburn 1. They are in bang tidy form, Preston now. So this is what I was hoping we would have done about 8 games ago, but there you go.
Yeah, I don't think Preston are going to be one of the teams that we're because they do just seem a really. I think they're almost are they the second highest goal scorers in the division now?
Are they actually?
I heard something like that they've scored.
Probably.
I backed them for the top 6 at the start of the season because I thought they looked a really good team just to build on last year. They started terribly, but like I said, I think they'll be looking up rather than down for the rest of the season.
I think undefeated in 8. I think now.
Wigan 0, Reading 0, Dave. Mick Mills, amongst the many wise things he always said, he said, when 2 of our rivals play together, you want a draw because 1 point goes into the ether, into nowhere. So probably a good result for us, that.
Yeah, and the next one as well, I guess.
Yeah, Millwall 1, Bolton 1. Bolton, I was sitting looking at that thinking, oh my God, this can't happen to us. Now, Bolton are going to win away at Millwall, are they? Really? But no, Cooper. Yet again.
Well,
so
looking through earlier on, there are 3 worse teams than us in the last 5 games. So we're on the form side. So Bolton, Sheffield Wednesday, and Wigan are statistically worse than us last 5 games.
Wow. So here comes the extrapolation. Ipswich remain 24th, but the gap grew. We talked about the gap between Town and 21st as the most important thing rather than any points projection. So 6 points now between Ipswich and 21st. 28 games to go. I'll just throw this in here now, lads. Quick aside, last 3, Swansea at home, Sheffield United away, Leeds United at home, possibly going to be playing for automatic. So last 2 games certainly going to be interesting. Top minutes, Chambers, followed by Knudsen, followed by Skews. Top goals, Edwards 4, Jackson now 3 in all competitions. Sears and Chalobah on 2. Top assists, Sears and Ward, both with 2. Are you ready for some 2 little ducks, gentlemen?
Go on.
Your favourite part of the entire week, guys. We go in to the 28th of May, 1997.
Ooh.
We're going to the Olympic Stadium in Munich. We're going to the Champions League final. Borussia Dortmund 3.
Balls at this.
Juventus 1. It's not an Ipswich game, but it is Paul Lambert's finest hour as a player, winning the Champions League with Borussia. Come on, Dave, you can get at least 4 of these. Come on. So Dortmund versus Juve, Champions League final, 1997. Unhelpfully, a couple of notable substitutes which don't get you any points in this one. So remember the rules. 2 little ducks. We got lots of praise, Dave, for doing the World Cup semi-final because it was non-Ipswich.
Oh, that was fairly straight. That was
because you knew the answers. Quizzes are always fun when you know the answers.
I'll let Joe. Joe, you.
No, Dave. Don't worry. You're going to be good. There's some very good World Cup winning players in this, and a couple of players who were in the one you did last time, the World Cup. the World Cup semi-final. So you'll get some. So remember, the rules are each player, we're playing together, not against each other. So Dave will have a go, Joe will have a go, etc., etc. And you have to name players that started the game. I'll let you away with a huge substitute, and you can use your golden goose, which I'm normally quite helpful with. So, Dave, the first most obvious one, we've already mentioned him.
I'll dig in with Paul Lambert. God,
Paul
that's
Lambert.
My one. That could be my contribution.
There we go. Joe.
Alessandro Del Piero
Is a used substitute, surprisingly. Came on at half-time. I was unhelpful. Did score the Juventus goal. So we can't give you a point for that one, Joe, I'm afraid. But you don't lose anything.
I can't think at all.
Dave, water carrier.
Go on, Joe. You
go on, Joe. On you go.
Didier Deschamps.
Didier Deschamps, holding midfield for Juve.
Oh yeah.
Angelo D'Olivio.
The soldier, Angelo D'Olivio, 3. I'd be ace at this one. I love my Italian football in the 90s.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
Are you have just?
Are you giving up, Dave?
I've had a blank, mate. Yeah, complete blank.
Torricelli.
You can play your golden goose.
A golden goose.
Torricelli wasn't it?
Inzaghi.
I'm gonna give out some clues here. I think ginger sweeper.
Peruzzi.
Oh, Peruzzi, I'll give you. Sammer, I'll give you.
Matthew Sammer, yeah.
Burly Uruguayan centre back.
Montero,
I'll give you that one. Scored the winning penalty in the Euro '96 shootout against England and did a very annoying pose.
Andy Muller.
Andy Muller.
Yeah.
Played up front for Liverpool and Fulham and scored 2 goals in this game.
Riedler, was it?
Karl-Heinz Riedler. Very
Riedler,
good.
Yeah.
Dave, the best midfielder of the last 40 years.
Zinedine Zidane.
Zinedine Zidane.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. Gareth Southgate described him as the laziest striker he'd ever worked with, Dave. When he was managing Middlesbrough.
The guy that what's his name? Begins with B. The Croat guy. Alen Boksic.
Alen Boksic. A cricket fan, Dave.
A cricket fan.
A cricket fan. Famous for liking cricket. Might have been born in Australia.
No, Christian
Vieri, 11. Very good. Do you want me to put you guys out of your misery?
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, I'm rubbish at that. Yeah.
Are you done, Joe?
I think I still had a few, but I won't. Lars Ricken, did he play?
He scored the goal, but he was a used substitute. I'll tell you what, there's a guy in here who played for Juventus the season before and also won the European Cup. Portuguese midfielder.
Paulo Sousa.
Paulo Sousa. Lovely stuff. Anyway, I'm giving you way too much help here. Here we go. Dortmund. Stefan Kloss. Dave played for Rangers afterwards.
Yeah.
Matthias Sammer. Jürgen Kohler, who was in last week's one.
Yeah.
Martin Kree. Stefan Reuter. Did he? No, Stefan Freund played for Spurs, didn't he? George Heinrich. Paul Lambert. Paulo Sousa. Andy Muller. Karl-Heinz Riedler. Great striker, Swiss striker, Stefan Chapusat. Remember him?
Chapusat.
Yeah. Juve, what a great side they had. Peruzzi, Perini, Ciro Ferrara, you missed. Paolo Montero, Mark Liliano, Deschamps, D'Olivio, Vladimir Jugovic, Yugoslav midfielder, Zidane, Vieri, Boksic up front. I think we got 11 with not too much.
Joe got 10, probably.
I can't believe you didn't get Zidane,
Lambert.
Dave. Dear me. I tell you what you will know more about, though, Dave, is Bristol City. So Harry's going to have done this for TWTD. I think it goes up on Monday. But we talked a lot about Lee Johnson. We talked a lot about streaks. And we're currently on a 4-game losing streak for Bristol City. Dave, can we turn them over? We're not favourites.
Yeah, we need to. I was just looking through their side yesterday. So Webster's return, of course. Kelly, who we quite liked last year, Marlon Pack, Andres Wyman still playing. I think Brownhill will be a big miss for them. I think you nailed it there. I think he'll be a proper miss.
Dave, when I did my best player in each side video, I got a lot of heat from Bristol City fans for not saying Brownhill. Yeah. So.
No, he's useful. It's such a huge game. I don't really you can't underline it any more than that. It's massive.
Joe.
Yeah, Brownhill, that was 2 yellows as well, so he can't appeal that, so
No.
he's definitely missing,
No.
which
Okay.
is good. They've lost 4 in a row. It always worries me when a team have lost that many in a row that they're just going to come and try and get a point to try and end their run, and a point's no good for us, really. So hopefully Lee Johnson will be in the Stephen Lansdowne, the chairman's office on Thursday morning with a tear in his eye saying, play redundant.
Wow. Okay, so big one coming up, Bristol City next week. Like we say, the preview show doesn't quite cover that, but there will be more content from us. I'll be at the game and you can check my match review out from that one. And then Harry and Rich will be back on Friday. Any sign of this week in ITFC history at any point, Dave? Is there going to be a recording any time?
Possibly this week. I don't. Yeah, I'm quite busy, so I don't know. Yeah, I've got to get hold of Stat at some point.
So possibly there'll be a show there soon. And then we will be back next weekend. There's too much going on. Forest away after this one. As I said, please subscribe on any platform, Acast, iTunes, etc. And do us a solid. Subscribe on YouTube. And if you enjoy the show and you want a bit of a laugh, February the 16th, eventbrite.co.uk. Like to apologise now. We've had a few technical problems, so the connection was a bit choppy from times. We don't have a massive studio, so please don't yell us on Twitter. We tried our best to get the show off to you as good as possible. Dave, any final words?
Here's hoping 3 points on Wednesday evening.
Joe?
Paul Lambert's Blue and White Army.
Be careful what you wish for. I'm just going to steal Mikey's lines. There we go. Thank you everybody for listening, and see you very soon.
From back to back to Stewart. Oh, he turns the defender sweetly. Round the goalkeeper and scores a magnificent goal at the top end.